Okay, today we're going to look at how we calculate averages from frequency tables. Before you look at this, you should be familiar with how to calculate the mean, mode, median and range from lists of numbers, because the techniques are very similar. But in real life, we'll have long lists of numbers, and in fact we'd probably more like to work out the averages on a spreadsheet, or this is the in-between method where we'd use a frequency table. So I've got a frequency table here, and what's been recorded in this frequency table is the height of some tomato seedlings. So seeds were planted and these are the height of the plant at a given time. And how this frequency table works, it means that there were 14 plants that were 4 centimeters high, 23 plants that were 5 centimeters high, 5 plants were 8 centimeters high, and so on. So I want to work out the mode, the mean, the median and the range of this set of tomato plants. So some things are fairly simple to work out. So let's start with the mode. The mode is the one that's got the highest frequency, the one that occurs the most often. So if we look down this frequency table here, we can see that this is the highest frequency, but the answer isn't 23, the mode is 5 centimeters, because there were 23 plants that were 5 centimeters high. The range is the smallest, take the largest, the difference between the smallest and the largest. A really common mistake here is to do 23 take 5, but these are the frequencies. We're interested in the range of the size of the plants. The tallest plant was 8 centimeters, the smallest plant was 4 centimeters, so the range is 4 centimeters. Hopefully that makes sense. We're going to do the mean next, and this is the one that requires the most calculation, and we have to make some additions to our table. So to calculate the mean, if you remember, we add up the sum of all the heights of the tomato plants and divide by how many there are. So how many plants were there? Well, it's the total frequency. So if I add up this column of plants, 14 add 23 add 16 add 12 add 5 comes to 70. So there were 70 plants altogether. So I'm going to be dividing by 70. So we need to find out what the total height of all those plants added together were. And this is where we actually add another column to our table. And in this column we use it for doing some calculations. There were 14 plants that were 4 centimeters high. So this is a total of 56 centimeters. There were 23 plants that were 5 centimeters high. So this is a total of 115 centimeters. There were 16 plants that were 6 centimeters high. So this is a total of 96 centimeters. There were 12 plants that were 7 centimeters high, that's 84 centimeters, and 8 plants that were 5 centimeters high, which were 40 centimeters. Now, very commonly, you'll be allowed a calculator to do this question, so I'm just going to add up this total column quickly. 56 plus 115 plus 96 plus 84 plus 40 equals 391. So that's the total height of all these 70 tomato plants added together. So to find the mean, we add up the sum, which is 391, divide by how many there are, which is 70. Once again, you'll need a calculator for this, and it comes to 5.6 centimeters to 1 decimal place. The final one I want to calculate is the median. And this one is actually, in many ways, the trickiest. So a most common mistake is people say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's going to, in the middle one, it's going to be 6. But because these have got different amounts of plants at each height, it doesn't work like that. So to calculate the median, we're looking for the middle plant. And you've got to remember, there were 70 plants. So if I put these plants in order, 1 to 70, the middle plant, because it's an even number, would actually be the 35th and the 36th plant. those would be the middle ones if I laid them all out in order. All the 4 centimetres ones, then all the 5 centimetre ones, and so on. So what I can do is I can look at this frequency column and use what we call the cumulative frequency. I'm going to write this in here. So there were 14 plants that were 4 centimetres high. If I then add on the 23 that were 5 centimetres high, that takes me to 37 plants. If I then add on the 16 plants that were 6 centimetres high, that then takes me to 53. Add on the next 12, that takes me to 65, and then add the final 5, that's all 70. So we want to know where the 35th and 36th plants were, and they must have been in this group here. So the 35th and 36th plants, the median plants, must also have been 5 centimetres tall.